Guys, James here today and welcome back to another Snowy Escape video. Today we're going to be looking at the third lot that I built in this pack. And if you don't know, I built 3 of the new lots coming with the expansion pack, so you will have them in your game, everyone will have them in their game. It's super duper exciting. If you want to learn more about the whole process and an introduction to it, do check out my video on the starter home. I did an overview of the whole thing, so you get a better idea of what's going on. But essentially, myself, Deligracy, Lil Simsy, and Simlessy, we each built 3 lots in the upcoming expansion pack, so there are no EA builds in it. And today we're going to be looking at the rental build that I did in the mountaintop neighborhood. And keep in mind this footage is super early. This is from back in August. A lot has changed, namely the fact that there is no snow currently in this version of the game way back then. That is completely different. We'll see the final product at the end of the time lapse. So if you want to see what it actually looks like, stick around or skip forward. But one thing I really wanted to do with this lot, because there's not much or any that I can think of lots really in the official game that use the terrain tools that much. I mean, I didn't go overboard with doing terrain tools, but I asked them, I was like, hey, am I allowed to use like the terrain tools to lift the lot off the ground a bit? Just to create a little bit more interesting aspect to it, especially that we're on top of a mountain. I figured the lot probably wouldn't be entirely flat anyway. And they're like, yeah, go for it, do it, absolutely. So that's what I started doing. I lifted the lot off the ground a bit. I did some terrain tools, and I started off using a stilted foundation because they did say there was one coming into the game later on. And if you don't know, because we were working on this so early, there was very few items in the game from the new expansion yet. Like we were working with basically just base game and a few little things here and there. But as the builds progressed and time went on, we got more and more things. So a lot of this was planning for what was coming into the pack later on. There's a lot of like, I think I'm going to do that later on. So I'm going to make sure I leave space for it, or I'm going to plan out and use this placeholder item instead. So that's what I'm doing with that foundation. Now, originally this was starting out as a fairly modest looking 2-story rental home. And I think that's something very important to note and quite exciting is this world not only has residential, but it also has rental lots. So it is both a vacation world and a regular world. I guess it's just a regular world though, but it has rental lots in it. So you can come and stay in this house, but not necessarily live in the world, which I think is pretty exciting. And I hope that we see more of this coming forward as well. But this one, I was playing around for a long time with the roof because I needed to make sure, first of all, that there was no like gaps in the roof there, because that's not a good look. So I was doing a lot of that. I was also trying to make the lot fit in with the surrounding ones in the background as well. There's a lot of lots in the world. They also gave us a bunch of inspiration, and I spoke about this in some of the other videos as well. Like we had a lot of concept art and we had a lot of imagery that represented what they wanted to see. So I was sort of going along that as well and trying to create something that would fit the aesthetic of this world quite nicely. And I think I did hit the nail on the head in the end. It took me a while to get there. As you can see, we're playing around with the roof a lot. I did want to have a really nice outdoor space. Now, right now, it doesn't look like it, but this whole mountaintop will be covered in snow. At the end of this video, like I said, we will actually see that. So this whole area is covered in snow. And just so we're clear, you don't need seasons or anything like that. This will just always have snow in it. So I wanted there to be outdoor space that was covered, because if we just had an outdoor like balcony or platform or something like that, it would just be covered in snow. It wouldn't be that nice. So I made sure to do outdoor spaces that had lots of roofing over it and lots of covering so that you could actually sit out there and enjoy it, because this rental is basically overlooking the ski slopes on the other side. Like behind us, we can just kind of see a little retaining wall, but the other side of the lot, there's a good view. And I don't think we see it at all in this time lapse, but when we do the overview, we'll definitely check that out. So this is where I expanded the lot a little bit because I realized I probably wanted a bit more space than I was giving myself. And we also did have the window update that allowed us to overlay windows on the same tile. So I was utilizing that right there. But you'll notice that I'm using base game windows because at this point in the game, we didn't have the new windows in the build yet. So this was very, very early on. So we'll see the new stuff coming in a little bit later. This whole time lapse though is the very first iteration I did of this build. So once we see the final product, we'll probably see a lot of changes coming in there as well. I think it's really interesting to see how this build and all the builds in this world have really progressed over time, because we each had the initial design and concept that we wanted to do, but then it would change and evolve as we realized, oh, that's not going to work, I want to do something a bit different, or as we got feedback from the team of like, we need to add this or we need to remove that, change this or that. So I think even in this, when this is just me doing my first build, having fun with it, just doing what I like, I think it's really interesting to see the initial idea and how I wanted it all to flow. So I was playing around with the platform tool here. You can see this is a new tool that's added into the game, which is really, really cool. If you want to see a really fun usage of the new platform tool, do check out my lounge build from this expansion pack, because it has a lot of fun stuff going on there. This one has a little bit of platform usage, not too much, but you can see some of it sort of cropping in here and there. So this layout was kind of interesting, because I was trying to figure out, I was trying to figure out the best place to put stairs to get up to the top, because I had a smaller upstairs than downstairs. And it was really interesting challenge to do the layout in this build, because I was really happy. I was really happy with the exterior look of the lot. I think it fit really, really nicely. So I was trying to get the interior to also fit just as nice. I didn't want it to all be sort of shoehorned here and there. I wanted it to flow really well, be really playable without having to worry about doing anything to the lot. And I didn't want to fall into some of the traps that I do in my regular builds, in that I'll build like the exterior, then the interior kind of just gets smushed in. So you'll see there is a lot of me changing the layout and changing how things are going to fit and making it flow better, because it just didn't make a whole lot of sense the first time around. So yeah, really interesting that all the base game windows are in this lot right now. And I actually think they do work really well, actually. I didn't have any problem, but once they added the new windows in, I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to use those. This is going to be way, way better. And they look so much nicer, and we'll see that very, very shortly. But yeah, it's quite a nice layout, I think, of this house. This is the main living space. As you walk into the house right here, we got the stairs going up, this nice raised little platform area. And then we have this sort of sitting area just in front of it, which we'll see soon. And I think it's a nice sort of open space, but the whole house is not open planned by any means, because I figured that wouldn't really make too much sense in this more traditional inspired home is what we're going with here. So just trying to figure out the best way that I could utilize this space. And the other thing I actually did have a bit of a challenge with was the exterior. Once I started doing these interior spaces, because like I said, I was trying to put a lot of effort to make the interior look really, really good too. Once I started doing that, I had to move around windows on the outside, change windows, and it really did impact how I was going to build and lay out everything. And I will explain a lot more of that as we look at the final build, because I think it is really interesting to see. Now, we are using the new kitchen stuff in this home. So this is some of the new counters there. We got the new fridge as well. This place originally ended up it's quite dark in this room. Really darker than I would have liked. I don't remember it being like this, but it did change. So it's quite interesting. So moving upstairs now, I actually wanted 2 bedrooms up here, because this was originally gonna be like a 2-bedroom rental. It was gonna be a little bit smaller, but then I added the extra wing off to the side, which you can see. I'm trying to point to it, but I keep rotating the camera, so that doesn't work. But yeah, so these 2 bedrooms up here are additional ones. So I wanted them to be quite nice, but they're not really like the showpiece of the house, like the main bedroom ends up being. But I did want to have enough bathrooms and everything around the place, because I didn't want your Sims having to walk downstairs or across the house or anything like that. So I did play around with this to make sure we had enough bedrooms and bathrooms and everything would fit in nicely. But this also does change quite a lot. So I was playing around with this. So these are a couple of the new beds as well, which I wanted to put in here. Now, as far as a rental, this is a rental lot, so I didn't go overboard with decorating or personalizing these bedrooms, because that wouldn't really make much sense at all. It really is supposed to be a generic sort of bedroom that is furnished to that has enough storage for all your stuff if you're coming to visit. So it's basically just some beds, bedside tables, and like a dresser, and that's kind of it. I didn't want to go too far with it, because then it becomes way too detailed and intricate of a bedroom for a rental, and I don't think that makes too much sense. But I wanted the rest of the living spaces to feel a little bit more inviting than just a standard sort of empty space. So that's why the rest of the house has a little bit more in it than the bedrooms. Also, the outside, don't worry, it's not plain white. We just didn't have the wallpapers in the game at this point. There was no new wallpapers, so I'm just using like a plain white. That definitely changes. Don't worry. So if you're a little concerned about that, that does not say that way. Moving downstairs again, we are sort of working on more of the layout here. We've got the dining room just off the kitchen, which I actually really like that the dining room is very much like the center of the house. It's like the hub. Like you go through that, that's sort of where everybody is going to congregate. That's where everything is happening, or at least that's the sort of design of it, where the dining room is right in the center. And I really like that. And we're using the new fireplace here as well, or one of the new fireplaces that the living room is centered around, because especially we're on a mountaintop. This is supposed to, it's definitely going to be cold. So I really wanted a nice, cozy, warm space that your Sims could sort of retreat to and get out of the cold as well. But not only that, later on, not in this time lapse, but I do add an outdoor area with a fireplace as well, which I think is so nice. I'm so excited for it. I can't wait to play in this lot and experience it. And I think it's going to be so nice and cozy and warm. I don't know. I'm just really excited about this lot in general. This one is so exciting. I don't know. This one I had, I think, the most fun with, because I kind of just got carried away. I just got really in the zone. I started building and decorating, and I did the most amount of changes on this lot. Even though on my lounge lot, if you watch that video, I had to completely move where it was and change the size of all the rooms. This one had the most changes, even though it may not seem like it changed a huge amount when you look at it on surface value. There's a lot of little details and things that shifted throughout the review process of this lot and over time. So we're just jumping forward a little bit where I'm doing some more furnishing, just sort of doing the finishing touches. I don't think I do any landscaping in this first revision, mostly because, like I said, the whole outside is going to be covered in snow, and I really didn't know what that was going to look like. So I didn't want to do all this landscaping and foliage and all that kind of stuff outside for it to just be completely like not what I imagined it to be. So I was waiting for them to add that into the game so I could do the outside. And I think the exterior and the landscaping, I'm so excited about it too. I think it looks so good. I'm so excited. It's almost, to me, the most exciting thing is, no, I mean, not only that I built this lot that's actually going to be in the game, that is really exciting, but that there is a lot in the game that, well, not just this lot, all the lots in this are so detailed. Like all the lots that all four of us built are so detailed and so full of life. I think it's just really exciting. I think all the lots in this world are going to be by far some of the best we've seen. I mean, maybe my three are the worst. Let's just say that. The other three that have made the lots in this world are going to be the best. And I'm just so excited that all of this is coming together and all the lots are going to be so filled and so full and so detailed. It's honestly so exciting, and I can't wait for you guys to play with all of these lots and experience them all, because I think it's so exciting. It's really exciting, but let's jump forward here. We're going to look at the final product of this lot. This is the first version of it, so it doesn't look anything like this. Let's jump into the final version and what you'll be getting in the game. Right, so here we are in the world once more. If you haven't seen the other two lots that I built, this is the lounge that I built here, so make sure to check out that video. And this is my starter home that I also built, so make sure to check out that video too. But today we're gonna be looking at my rental lot that is way up here in the ski mountain top area. It's 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 608 simoleons per day. Let's go check it out. So I think already you can see the huge difference that the snow makes to this area. And I think you can see the outside has got a lot, it has changed a lot. I think the exterior of the build looks a lot nicer now that it's got all the new wallpapers and the new windows. All the windows are new, and that is all changed. We got all the new fences and new columns. All of that's going on here. This is my favorite little space right here. Like, check this out. You go down here, your Sims can come here, sit on this, and check out that in the background. Now, I don't want to show too much of that because we're not really supposed to be focusing on anything besides the build, but a little sneak peek, I don't think hurt anybody there. So I think this space right here is one of my favorite places. I think this is super nice. And you can see I did play around with all the landscaping. None of this is flat. It is all on like different height terrain. We have this pathway that slowly goes up to where the entrance of the lot is. I'm so excited by that as well. And we're using the platform tool here. So you can see we go up to the foundation. Then there's a step up to the door there as well. On the inside, we have the whole platform here. We got the new door right there. This is the living space in here. It's quite cozy. Like I said, it is a rental lot, so we haven't gone completely overboard decorating or detailing, but you know, it's got some pieces here and there to make it a little bit interesting. Making something a little bit different from just your Willow Creek. In here, we got the dining room, which I made a little bit bigger because I was a little worried that Sims might get stuck because it was a bit smaller than this originally. So I made it a bit bigger. And then through here, we got the kitchen, which you can now see is lit up a bit more. I put a bunch of lights in here because it did seem dark. Obviously, I'm using a lot of dark wood tones throughout the entire house, but it just felt really dark too. So we got a few more lights going on in here to make that a little bit nicer. We do have this really small decking all the way around. There's nothing on it, and there aren't any doors to go out to it, which is on purpose. There's no point to go out there. You could put a door there if you wanted. I didn't do it because Sims would, if I especially had multiple doors, Sims would probably start walking through here and they might get stuck. So I just avoided that. So they don't walk out there, but it's more just like an architectural detail that makes the outside look way more interesting having that. And I think the landscaping is, I just love it. I think it looks so good. Like it's nothing like over the top or too eccentric, but I think it's really nice as detailing, especially this little entrance here. We go to nighttime, you can see how that lights up there. We got a little light on the table underneath as well. I really like this. So through here, we have this corridor. We have a nice little raised platform here with a nice fancy plant sitting on it. In here, we have the downstairs, or one of the downstairs bathrooms. We have a bathtub sitting up on top of this platform. So it's raised up there a little bit. A little toilet in its own separate room. Nothing too fancy down there. Down this way, we got the master bedroom, which they did actually change. And I just want to point this out now. I'm not pointing the finger at anyone, but I did not do this. I did not do this. This is not me. I'm sorry that this is in the game, and I just want to point out that it wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me. So what happened is they came through and they changed up a few of the things in this lot because they wanted to add a few things. So they've added like these heaters in. So originally this wasn't here. I'll show you the final version I sent them just so we can clear my name because this wasn't me. But if you want to fix it, I would probably just move these windows up just to there because moving these down, you can do it. I think if you use bb.move objects, you can actually move these down, which is where I originally had them, mind you. They were down there. So it looks way better from the outside. Also, this bathroom has changed. I think these windows may have moved because originally the toilet was in the same room, but they wanted to separate all the toilets from the main bathroom to make it more traditional, which is fine. But unfortunately, we didn't make that change when I still had access to the builds. So I wasn't able to, avoid a change like that, which is unfortunate, but that's just what happens. And then upstairs, this is what it ended up looking like up here. Which I think is nice. Just a few bedrooms. I think this one's really nice. I really like these bedrooms. They are simple. There's nothing too revolutionary about them, but I really like them. They have these little heaters in there as well. And we have the bathroom with the shower over there. And then this is the bathroom with the toilet that is nice and separate as well. Yeah, this is the final build that you will see in your game if you would like to come and rent this house. It is there. It is there for you. But just to clear my name, let's go check out the final version of the lot that I sent them. So this is the final version of the lot that I sent them. There are a few mistakes in this that I wanted to change anyway. For example, like these plants were hovering. I did point that out and they did actually change this in the final build for me, which is great. I also changed this tree here because I placed this before there was snow. So I didn't realize it would look quite that sad. So that's why we swapped it out to a pine tree, which is really nice. And we also moved this in the final build because that one's really floating there. So that's just moved down a bit, I believe. But yeah, so there are a few little changes. And likewise with the bathrooms, you can see they actually put this into a separate room rather than being in that space, which is fine. They added in all the little heaters because we didn't have those yet. But other than that, most of the build is pretty much the same. But you will note in this version, the windows are in the correct spot. They are. So I actually had them a little bit higher up. Not that that's fine. At least they're still in line. But yeah, I had them higher up. I thought I had them down there, but that's okay. But yeah, they are not misaligned. So that wasn't me. Just want to say that now. That wasn't me. I think it's quite funny though. I think it's quite funny. But yeah, that's a lot. I really hope you guys enjoy it. That concludes my work on the new expansion pack. I built these 3 lots, well, in the past few videos. If you haven't seen all the videos, do check out the other ones, and do check out Little Simsy, Simlessy, and Deligracy's channels, because they're gonna have videos on all the lots that they built in the game as well. So if you wanna see more detail on how they built them, what they built, and where they built them, go check out their channels too. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this little look at the process behind it all. Thank you so much for this opportunity as well. I'm so excited by this. I'm really excited for you guys to check out all the stuff as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time, and have an awesome day.